Everyone, welcome back to another video. I, as always, am your host, Justin Lesko, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt and former pro MMA fighter. The 2021 UFC calendar is officially complete. This weekend's fight card, headlined by Derek Lewis and Chris Daukaus, wrapped up a very good year for the UFC. We now have to wait until January 15th for the first event of 2022, and again we have to wait until January 22nd until the first pay-per-view of 2022. And 6 weeks between pay-per-views seems like a really long time by today's standards. I mean, I know that there have been a lot of great fight night cards in between, including the one that we just had, but still. Anyway, we're approaching the end of the year and the start of a new one, and as everyone tends to do in these times, I'm looking back at the year that was, and I was reminiscing about some of my favorite UFC fights. So here they are, my top 5 favorite UFC fights from 2021. So there isn't a lot that I really need to say about this one outside of these two dudes just beat the brakes off each other for 15 minutes and it was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, look at this wild shit. Gaethje got the decision win, which I thought was the right decision, but man, these guys went to war. This was a really great fight, almost entirely because of the third round. The third round was so good, I'm putting the whole fight on my list of the year's best fights. Overall, the fight was mostly controlled by Volkanovski, even though Ortega did land as well, and he had some success, but the third round was wild. Volkanovski survived, not one, but 2 submissions that would have finished probably 99% of the other people in the world, including Volkanovski surviving a triangle from T-City himself, Brian Ortega. Just an incredible display of submission defense and an epic round and fight. What I remember most, aside from the finish, was how buddy-buddy these guys were, then shit went sour. They were originally going to do this fight as like a charity thing for Poirier's charity, then the UFC made the fight and they both were super cordial and complimentary of each other. Conor had some early success, but Dustin started landing leg kicks and slowing Conor down. Dustin changed angles hard to put Conor's back to the cage, and Dustin unloaded on him and got the finish. Obviously, after this fight, these guys got really personal and went back to hating each other, and the third fight later this year ended with Conor's broken leg and Conor saying shit about like murdering Poirier's family, so we'll see what happens next, if anything, between these two. But this second fight was really good. It was a really impressive finish for Poirier, and I thought it was one of his better performances, finishing a guy who is, you know, he's Conor McGregor. If you're paying attention closely, you'll notice this is Michael Chandler's second appearance on my list. He didn't have a great result in these 2 appearances, but there's something to be said for always being in exciting fights. Even though I'm sure he'd prefer to be the winner of those fights, this was a back and forth affair, and what made it such a good fight was the fact that at different points I thought Chandler was just about to win the fight. And then like a few minutes later, Oliveira comes back and wins it. It was really good action back and forth, and both guys put on great performances. Oliveira's was just better than Chandler's. Great fight. This fight, for me, was the best fight of the year. I am a huge Max fan. He's on my very short list of favorite fighters in the world right now, and this was a great performance from him. Since this fight was way back in the beginning of the year, I think some people forget that it happened and just how much fun it was. It was obviously the first main event for the UFC on ABC, which is really good news for the UFC because any random non-UFC fan who happened to stumble upon this fight on ABC and this was their first exposure to the sport got a real show. Max was dominant, so I, as a fan, was very happy, but even with Max being dominant, Calvin Kattar is just as tough as they come, and he refused to go down even when Max was pouring it on. So we were lucky enough to see pure dominance on one hand and a badass refusal to quit on the other. But this fight also gave us one of the coolest sequences ever when Max was yelling, I think at DC, that he's the best boxer in the world while simultaneously slipping punches without looking. Legend. My favorite fight of the year for sure. What was your favorite fight of the year? Let me know down in the comments. So we looked back at 2021. I'm going to give some predictions for 2022. Number 1, Jon Jones will either not fight because he'll get arrested again, or he will fight, but he will fail his drug test afterwards. Conor McGregor will fight one time and lose, and everyone will start to say, was Conor ever really that good? He was, he just might not be good right now. Charles Oliveira will finish 2022 as the lightweight champion. My next prediction is more of a I hope it happens prediction than a I think it will happen prediction, but Joanna Jędrzejczyk will fight and win in 2022. I'm not saying she's going to fight and win the title, but she'll fight and she will win. Israel Adesanya will finish 2022 ranked number 1 pound for pound, and it won't be close. Last but not least, Sugar Sean O'Malley will still have not passed my guard by the end of the year, and that one you can count on. It was a great year of fights, and I'm hoping 2022 picks up right where 2021 left off and keeps the great fights coming. There are a few fights I'm looking forward to, and I hope that they happen, but more on those later. Thank you all for watching. I might recommend one of these videos over here for you to watch next. And if you want to check out some bonus content, the link for that is down here somewhere as well. Thank you again for watching. I will see you all in the next episode.